I just finished up watching Ahsoka on Disney Plus, and wowee, was this show not what I was expecting whatsoever. This is very much a sequel to Star Wars Rebels, a show that I personally have yet to see, but after watching this, I do kind of want to go back and watch that show. Disney, you have me hooked. Star Wars, I'm ready for you. Let's do this. Ahsoka is a brand new series on Disney Plus featuring, of course, Ahsoka. She is a Padawan of Anakin Skywalker, and she's a little bit seasoned now. She's a little bit older, a little bit more rugged, moves a little bit slower to her older self that you would see back in the Clone Wars. She's moving a lot less, but is also more proficient at the same time. I don't know how she was in Rebels, if she was as spry as she once was, but she does get the job done. She's still pretty badass. Ahsoka has always been a character that I've honestly just kind of looked up to. I still remember to this day, the first day that Clone Wars premiered on Cartoon Network. That night, I was a small little child sitting up in my living room, looking up at the TV and just thinking to myself, wow, this is one of the first Star Wars TV shows that I've ever experienced, and seeing all the trailers for the Bounty Hunter, it was a lot of fun. Getting ready for this show, I was eagerly waiting for this, but also at the same time, I wasn't holding my breath. Mandalorian Season 3 has failed me. Obi-Wan, the show, definitely failed me. And a whole lot of other Star Wars properties like Boba Fett have failed me. I mean, my gosh, one of my favorite movies is Revenge of the Sith. And we all know how the world feels about the prequels. Not so good. But me, I love it for the choreography, the atmosphere of the movies. But today we are here to talk about Ahsoka. I don't know if this is going to be considered a review or more so my first reactions to the first 2 episodes. I don't really have a lot of time to mull this over or think too much about it. I do have a few nitpicks here and there, and I do have a lot of praise for the show. I was thoroughly surprised, impressed, and not really upset at the show whatsoever. I mean, granted, the show, it still has about 6-7 episodes left. I believe it's an 8-episode series. Can't put all my eggs in the basket until we know what this basket looks like, until Easter comes. The premise of Ahsoka is essentially Ahsoka is on her own. She's traveling the galaxy, and she came across one of the Nightsisters. I had this map to discover a location of this evil man named Thrawn. Like I said before, I have not seen Rebels. I don't know who Thrawn is. Ezra, Sabine. There's a lot of characters in the show that I just didn't really know about. But these characters have honestly made me a little bit more invested, and I do kind of want to go and watch Rebels after seeing these first 2 episodes. It kind of reminds me of old school Game of Thrones Season 1, where they're talking about, I don't know, Lyanna Stark, and then you don't really know who Lyanna Stark is until Season 6, and then you go back and rewatch those scenes, you rediscover those conversations, and it's oh my gosh. Not being able to see Rebels right away, there's just a lot of mystery, a lot of vagueness that I'm just really yearning to discover, and I think that's one of the fascinating things about the show is it really makes me yearn to want to know more and to go back and watch the shows, but I don't want to do that until I complete Ahsoka. And then I can go back to fill in those gaps that the show failed to provide new audiences like me. I don't know if I can recommend this show to brand new viewers because there is a lot of homework that people need to catch up on. But at the same time, you can also experience this blindly and open yourself up to the world at the same time. It's all about how you experience the show and how you want to experience it. All I know further about the show is that these Jedi Knights or former Jedi Knights are now evil. They're part of the Sith Empire and they're kind of hanging on. The Empire's gone and the New Republic is here to save the day. However, those little remnants of the Republic, they just can't get over themselves. They need Thrawn to start a brand new war to take down this New Republic, and they're putting all their chips on Thrawn. They want to get this guy back. And so Ahsoka, with the map, she's trying to keep it from them. However, she loses the map to these guys, and now it's just kind of this whole race to find Thrawn and apparently this other character named Ezra, who is also apparently maybe a Jedi, and there's just so many things that were set up in these first 2 episodes, and I found it very, very interesting. One thing that I really enjoyed about these opening 2 episodes was the pacing. What this felt like to me was the first movie of a trilogy, bringing in these new characters, setting up a lot, and I mean a lot, for the viewers to enjoy. I've always loved Ahsoka's style of fighting. Like I mentioned, she's kind of slowed down in her age, but she, again, just gets it done, and it's so cool, and I love the action scenes. There are some instances where you do notice the green screening, and it kind of gets a little distracting to the viewers. I feel like if you're someone who is able to look past that, I think that you can get through the show pretty well and enjoy the show for what it is. A big thing that took me by surprise was Ahsoka wasn't more front-centered of her own show, Ahsoka. And I think that is something that Disney shows, especially in the Star Wars universe, are failing at in a rapid rate. I mean, like Mandalorian Season 3, it's called Mandalorian, and yet we barely got any attention on the Mandalorian, and that is unfortunately, again, what they're doing here. Now, I use unfortunately a lot more loosely because these side characters are a lot more interesting than any of the characters that we see in Mandalorian Season 3, and I give a lot of kudos to the show for already making me care about these characters as much as I have without hardly even knowing anything about them, and I think that's really what makes me want to go back and explore Star Wars Rebels. Ahsoka had an apprentice. Like, there's so much lore built up that makes you care about these characters. That's what the first 2 episodes should always do, is to get you hooked. Unfortunately, I just wish we had some more Ahsoka screen time. This is the Ahsoka TV show. There's one major thing I have to give the show plenty of kudos for, is the chase scene, especially in episode 1. There's a chase scene focusing on Sabine. She is leaving this capital-like city to go back home. She doesn't want to be recognized for any rewards or anything like that, and they're chasing her down. They're like, hey, you got to come back and get this reward, and the chase scene it's a lot better than the chase scenes that we've seen in Mandalorian or even Boba Fett especially. We're moving in a good direction here. I like how these scenes are being set up. I love the blocking of the scenes, the effects. I love how fast-paced it feels. I don't feel like it's a Power Rangers TV show progressing at very, very slow speeds. It's very snappy, very quick. That's something that I really, really enjoy about this show, is that it feels like a movie. Okay, 2 hours of my life just went by and it only felt like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. Like, that's something that I can positively say is a really, really good thing about a TV show. Not only that, but the camera work has improved. The graphics and CGI definitely improved. Another big thing is the lighting. The lighting was absolutely gorgeous, except in those shots that I mentioned about the green screen. But again, those are just very nitpicky things where a vast majority of the show just really does seem to shine exceptionally. And overall, the show is just very, very beautiful, very CGI heavy. It is Star Wars, of course. I very much enjoyed this, other than the fact that this feels like a Sabine show more than an Ahsoka show. It's like a coming of age story for the character of Sabine. A lot of the characters focus on Sabine. Hey, Sabine does this. Sabine feels like this. Have you checked in with Sabine? Where's Sabine? But I'm also not put off by that. I find it kind of refreshing, kind of interesting. I haven't heard about this character, and she does a really cool few things to progress the plot, more so than Ahsoka, I would say. At the end of the day, I don't know if I can personally recommend this to you. I guess it depends on how you enjoy your TV shows. If you're okay with going into something blindly and you don't want to ask questions and you want the show to unveil things over time, then sure, go ahead. But if you need to know everything within every single scene, you might end up hating this show. I'm going to be reviewing this show weekly. I haven't done that since House of the Dragon. Very excited to do this, but also I'm going to be live streaming Jedi Survivor as well on those nights, so be sure to check those out over on YouTube. If you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like down below, as it does help out my channel grow. Leave a comment down below. Did you guys like Ahsoka? Are you guys interested in watching the show? I was very much looking forward to this. I don't think it disappointed, but it also didn't go in a direction I wasn't anticipating, and I'm still trying to weigh if I like that or not, depending on, I guess, where the show goes in these next few episodes. As well, if you guys do want to watch some more content of mine, be sure to click the video on the screen for more of that. It does really help out with the YouTube algorithm. If you guys are new here, be sure to hit subscribe. Otherwise, my name is Austin, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.